Well, welcome everyone. I am Gina Gaudio-Graves, better known as the JV Queen. I am the Dean and founder of Directions University at directionsuniversity.com. And I want to welcome you today. For the next couple of hours, I'm going to be here open to answering any business question that you bring to me. To do that, I've brought one of my DU faculty members and DU Bachelor students, Lynn Hawkins, with me. Lynn Hawkins is the founder of the P3 Academy, one of my really good friends, and she's going to help me moderate. So, Lynn, you want to tell them how this is going to work? What do they need to do if they want to get a business question answered today?
It's quite simple. All you need to do is put in the comment box that you'd like to come in to ask your question, and I will respond with the link. I'll provide you the link, and just use the link, jump on in, and when your question is complete, we'd appreciate you stepping out so that the next person can step in. So hopefully it moves pretty quickly and smoothly, and I'm looking forward to helping.
Thank you so much, Lynn. So guys, what questions do you have? No topic off limits if it relates to business. Lynn, you've been in my world for quite some time. How do I do at answering questions?
Oh my gosh, Gina, some people call you the Oracle because of the canny way that you have of seeing through the question to the answer that ends up being the perfect solution. So I'm looking forward to helping people to get their questions answered.
Well, who's going to be our first guest joining me? Do we have anyone asking questions yet?
I don't see anyone yet. However, I see Ron Harvey out there, and I'm going to put the link out here. And if you are there and have a question, you want to jump in and ask the Oracle, the JV Queen, just click the link and you ought to be able to jump right in with us. And you know, Gina, I thought about it just a couple of minutes ago, actually. I could have put together a short list of questions myself because, you know, there's so many questions that entrepreneurs want to have answered and may not really know how to ask them in order to get that answer. So, you know, as someone who has evolved in business, let me ask you this. Is it unusual for someone to start their business and see things going in one direction, plan out for that, yet things shift for them?
Very common. When you're first getting started, Lynn, think about it this way. If you've never done this before, you don't have a lot of experience, you're building whatever the plan is all in your head and inside of you. And until that plan gets out there in the wild, so to speak, gets in front of the people it's meant to serve, there is no way that you can predict what's likely to show up. My entire business has been a matter of building a plan, moving forward with a tiny action, listening to what the market says they want, and responding in kind. It works out really, really well. So expect it. It's almost something I could guarantee.
Well, thank you for that answer. It looks like we've got Dale Maxwell, who's
Hello, Dale.
Hello. So my question, I don't know if I typed it in on the other page. So my question is, I'm not sure how to ferret out of my brain what my most pressing question is. Can you help me with that?
I absolutely can. This is a very common problem, by the way, Dale.
Oh, I thought it was just me.
No, it is really not just you. It's because of the you don't know what you don't know things, right? You only know what you know. How can you possibly figure out what your best question is when there's all these questions that there's no way you have of knowing of them? This is why I like group programs like what we have at Directions University so much. Those you don't know what you don't know questions get answered by having all your peers on the call asking the questions that you never would have thought of. So here's what you want to be doing, Dale. You want to be thinking from the opposite direction. So start with, what is the outcome? I tell my students that they want to start by asking in every little detail, what is the outcome I want from this? So you can ask it in a big picture sense. Okay, what's the outcome I want from my business in the next 1 year? You can actually ask it for each and everything that you're doing within your business. I'm writing a blog post. What's the outcome for my blog post? Why am I writing it at all? Do I want it to just have a piece of content on a page? Not very helpful, not very leveraged. Do I want it to attract a new customer? Do I want it to attract a new JV partner? Do I want it to attract a perfect speaking opportunity? What is the reason for doing it? If you can start with the outcome, it usually brings up a lot more questions that you never would have thought to ask. Does that make sense, Dale?
Oh, that's awesome. That really helps me. I wrote down as fast as I could what you said. Thank you.
Let me see if I can find an image for you. One of my students actually created a wall sign to put in her office. And I love this sign so much because it's a constant reminder to be asking yourself about the outcome. Let's see if I can find it, and Lynn can put it in the comments area if I can. Do you have another question while I'm looking for it for you, Dale?
Wow. Okay. So yeah, another question would be, how do I? So this will give me about, I don't know, 100 questions. So now, how do I prioritize which ones to focus on?
Oh, really, really, really good question. So I like to prioritize based on revenue. Which answer is going to bring you to the greatest amount of revenue in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of effort? Usually, when you're just getting started in your business, you really don't have a way to do things that generate revenue overnight. Sometimes you do, but more often than not, there's so many things you've got to put in place before you can actually get to the place of revenue. So what can you do? Well, think about those tasks that you could undertake that could lead you to revenue with the least amount of effort. That one little thing is going to help you tremendously. Lynn, I'm going to put this in on the comments. This is the link to the picture, and let me just pop it up on my screen so you can see it real quick. So what is the desired outcome? Visualize the desired goal. Easily and effortlessly manifest the result that you want. If we're doing what I just suggested, Dale, thinking about what one thing can lead you to revenue with the least amount of effort. On your daily to-do list, you actually want to go through it and prioritize it based on revenue. Even if you're just starting out, every single day, there should be at least one task that could lead you to revenue within 72 hours. Now, if you're just getting started and you don't even have a product to sell yet, you might go, okay, but how the heck do I do that if I have nothing to sell yet? Lynn, do you remember in the bachelor's program when we did the survival challenge, as Jack calls it?
I do, yeah.
What was that all about?
It was pretty exciting, actually. It was all about generating revenue. And we were challenged to generate some revenue for the week. And once we generated revenue for the week, we were then challenged to generate revenue on a daily basis. And the challenge wasn't so much for a specific dollar amount as it was to really be focused on the revenue generating activities and generate income. It was really a great experience and something that I continue to do now. RGA is the top of my list.
Awesome. My partner, Jack Humphrey, he used to be a tracker, and he's the kind of guy that could be dropped out in the wilderness with nothing but a pocket knife and survive for 30, 60, even 90 days without anything other than the clothes on his back and a pocket knife. And this whole idea of the survival challenge, as we called it, was really Jack's. Jack got a little frustrated one day by so many of our students who just were taking months and sometimes years to get to the place of generating revenue in their business. What sets a business apart from a hobby is revenues, guys. You can't take months to years to make the revenue happen and call it a business. It's not. It's a very expensive hobby at that point. So on one call, Jack said, your wilderness is the internet. Your pocket knife is the computer. Put yourself out there in a way that really stretches yourself and do whatever it takes to generate some revenues. And then he set the goal. The first goal was make $500 in a week. But the activities had to be things that stretched you. It couldn't just be you knew how to do this one thing, you knew you could make money with it, go and do it. It wouldn't get the objective met, the outcome met. The stories that came out of doing this, stretching yourself, were amazing. Your first goal isn't $500, $1,000. It isn't a big number. Your first goal is to simply make $1, just $1. More often than not, you're going to make a lot more than $1 even when you try it for the first time. But just that $1 does something at an energetic level. It does something in your mindset. When you've met that $1 objective and you've brought money in one time, the next goal isn't to increase it. Next goal is to make money consecutively 7 days in a row. There are two different ways of making money. There are growing a business strategies for making money, and then there are simply make money strategies for making money. This type of activity is not a business strategy type of making money. It is simply a make money type of activity. That's it. It does not need to be tied to what you do in your business. It does not need to be tied to what you sell in your business. We oftentimes had students coming back during this challenge thinking that they had cheated. One woman found a $2,500 check in an envelope on the floor that she was about to throw away, and she felt like she cheated. Lynn, did she cheat even one little bit?
No, she didn't. And it was really a revelation to her that she had not cheated.
It really was. So, Lynn, do you remember any of the kinds of activities we suggested could stretch people?
Let me think. Well, I recall some of the results that people had. The $2,500 check was just one. Someone else said that, and I laughed at this one, they cleaned out the sofa and found a $20 bill.
I remember that one.
Someone else said that they'd made a phone call to connect with someone and didn't realize it, but that connection resulted in a purchase of a product. And someone else said that they just went out to the mailbox and there was an envelope with a check in there from someone that had owed them some money. So there was some energetic happenings there as well. And I know that that's something that we do a lot of talking about as well, because in the group setting, it's kind of the energy of the group kind of permeates into what everyone is doing. And the kinds of things that were happening and being reported on a weekly basis was causing others to go out and be in that energy, in that frame of mind, and create it again for themselves.
Absolutely. So one other example that I have is about to shut down April 20th. But it's only shutting down one part of it. The strategy works on an ongoing basis, even beyond April 20th. And it's what we're doing today, sort of, with a twist. It's a Google HelpOut. You can go to google.com/helpouts to see what people are doing on Google. Helpouts are nothing more than a hangout. You can do them for free. You can do them for pay. It's up to you how you do them. What's disappearing is this directory that Google provides called HelpOuts. You can still get people into a video chat on Skype, onto a Hangout or a Hangout on air for a very specified amount of time, either for free or for a fee. When we were looking at this a few months ago, we actually found a woman who had over 650 helpouts that she had been paid to do. She was charging something like $50 for a 10-minute session to teach you how to properly squeeze a pimple. Now think about it, guys. $50 times 650 sessions is a very large sum of money. So Dale, getting back to your exact question, what is that one thing that's going to lead you to revenue with the least amount of effort today or within the next 72 hours? The next set of tasks that you're prioritizing are what gets you the greatest amount of leverage that leads to money. So leverage in this case means getting you the biggest possible results in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort. Everything that doesn't fit into one of those two chunks goes at the bottom of your to-do list and can prioritize it in a number of ways. What can you do with the least amount of effort? What can you do that's going to produce the biggest long-term effect? Leverage is really what prioritization is about.
Tina, that's
Well, thank you.
amazing.
You're welcome. This is one of my favorite topics, guys.
Looks like Jane Gardner is out here with a question. I'm sending her the link to join us.
Dale's actually going to be on a hug seat with us on the 25th of March in our Motivation to Profit program. Dale, now that we finally have you squared away with Motivation to Profit, what are you getting out of it?
Well, the tools that you've shown that you've used with the other hug seat participants have been really good because I tend to be a kinesthetic kind of visual person, and so being able to see the stuff in a way that helps me to make more sense of it.
Absolutely. What Dale's referring to is a call that we do at DU every week on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We call it our hug seat. Every week, one person volunteers to be on the hug seat. We look at who they are as a person, where they're at right now in their business, what their purpose is, what their legacy is, or what legacy they want to leave. And then we look at where do they want to be in the next 1 to 3 years. Over the course of about a 2-hour call, we build the strategic plan for how to go from where they're at to where they want to be. As I mentioned, Dale's hug seat happens on March 25th. Even though he's not on that spot where he's working with us one-on-one in a group setting for another week and a half or so, he's already getting things out of just being a part of other people's hug seats. Again, those you don't know what you don't know questions, right, Dale?
Yes, I put my mute on every time so that I don't make noise in your background and mess up your recording. I really appreciate you. So pardon the pause when I take my microphone back down. So yeah, definitely, I definitely have gotten good value from listening to that, and of course some of the answers that you've given and some of the questions are certainly ones that I would ask if I knew to ask them. So,
fantastic. And have you gotten into any of the more than 40 lessons that are available in Motivation to Profit yet?
Well, I listened to part of it, part of one of them. Sorry about that. Um, so, yeah, not as much as I could, and then I didn't really understand that until you sent another email at some point saying I should really start at number one and go through, because I started at like 7 or 8 because that was the one that was made sense to me. So that's
Gotcha. Well, the way Motivation to Profit works, just so everyone else who doesn't know about it can hear, there's about 42 or 43 lessons. We've got a few more that we're adding right now. They are in a very specific order. The order is based on what will help you grow your business with the least amount of effort in the shortest amount of time. In other words, the greatest amount of leverage. Every lesson works the same way. 1 hour training, a set of action steps. They're your assignments. They're the things to do to implement that training. This is one of the most comprehensive programs you will find anywhere, online or off. It covers what we call the 5 core systems that every business needs. It covers mindset, including visualization and goal setting. It covers monetization. Where's the money going to come from in your business? And in that segment, we talk about what we call the vortex model of doing business. It is the most organic, wholesome, holistic way of growing a business that you will ever see. And it really does make it a lot easier to focus in business and a lot easier to get the results that you want for business. Then we go into leverage, including joint ventures, strategic alliances, and other forms of leverage. We go into content marketing and relationship building, and then more than half of it is all about the big topic, traffic and lead generation. What are you going to do to attract those new customers, turn them from prospects into customers, from customers into repeat buyers, from repeat buyers into evangelists? All of that is packaged together with the hug seats, with something we call Do Project that's being released in the next couple of weeks. That's a comprehensive project management system that you can use to have other people implementing everything you learn on your behalf in your business. You can get more information and join Dale and Lynn and I in Motivation to Profit at joindu.com/MTP. joindu.com/MTP. Is Jane joining us, Lynn?
It looks like Jane was commenting to help Zelinda, who has a question or appears to have a question, and she's wanting to know if she has to be on camera. So I've been encouraging her to come in. If she wants to turn off her camera, that's great. But come in and enjoy the experience of being right here with you. Everyone, I'd like for you to know that you can put your questions right here in the comments area, and I will make sure that Gina gets the question and your question gets answered.
I do encourage you to not just type the question. Type the question to get me started, but then come join us in here. I really don't mind if you want to turn your camera off, guys. Honestly, I prefer to be not on camera myself. So you'll see me move over to my screen quite frequently just because of that. But here's why I want you to join me here with Lynn. Oftentimes, in order to answer the question, I need to ask for some more information. It's a little hard to do that if you're on one side not here with Lynn and I'm in here with Lynn and I. So just come join me. I can tell you how to turn your camera off. It's really easy if you've never been in a Hangout before. Dale, did you turn your camera off on purpose, or did that happen accidentally?
no, I don't want to be on camera. So I know I've even got a piece of tape over the camera lens just to make sure in case I screw up, because no, I don't want to be on camera at all. So I'm comfortable. You wouldn't want me on camera.
Well, it works out perfect, right? We still got to interact. You still got to get the kind of help that you wanted. And we didn't need to see you to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You've never been in a Hangout before. Dale, did you turn your camera off on purpose, or did that happen
Okay,
accidentally?
Ron, you may have your video going in the background. Okay. So Ron has joined us. Ron has a question.
Go ahead, Ron.
He clicked the wrong button and took himself out.
It's a good learning experience, guys. Hangouts and Hangouts on Air are really the way of the future. Lynn, maybe you could share with them, what are Hangouts and Hangouts on Air all about, and why are they such a big deal for entrepreneurs today?
They are the biggest thing in connecting with community and others. In my opinion, because Google has established the platform, it's easy, it's accessible from your phone. You can get into your communities, you can get into a hangout with an individual or a group totaling 10. You can have as many as 10 people live in a Google Hangout on air. Now there is a difference. A Google Hangout, you can have up to 10 people live inside the Hangout, and you can have as many people watching as you'd like. It's not recordable. A Google Hangout on air, however, is something that you can broadcast, record, have it saved on your YouTube channel. And for entrepreneurs, it's excellent. It's an excellent way to get yourself known. Next to Google, being Google, the search engine, there's YouTube. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. And I love YouTube because most people think of YouTube as a storage facility, so to speak, Gina. And it is quite more than that. It's actually something that I'm participating in a training about, because YouTube's opportunities are so expansive, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't even know about it. And something that you're going to be involved in soon, which is the Connect Masterclass. And in that masterclass, we're not only going to be talking about a lot of the things that you're talking about now. You're a presenter. We're actually going to explore Google+. We're going to explore Google Hangouts on Air, and we're going to explore YouTube to talk about optimization. And that's just Google Hangouts on Air. I'm a fan. And it looks like Ron is back. Hi, Ron.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. I was getting all sorts of double stuff happening a minute ago, so I decided to put my headphones on, and I'm glad it's working. Okay, my question is pretty simple, and it may be something some other people would like to know about as well. Is that just recently I finished writing a book, and I want to know how to use that book as leverage to get my business back in the air again.
Great question, Ron. So let's talk about the book for a minute. Number one, are you planning on putting it out in digital format or print format, or both?
My intent initially is to put it out in digital format.
So publishing it in PDF format or on Amazon's Kindle platform?
I really hadn't decided upon either one. Obviously, PDF would be useful to me for distributing it within or from my website to potential customers. But Kindle, I guess you could probably do the same kind of thing, but I really don't know.
You absolutely can. But there's one huge advantage with Kindle that is not present with a PDF that you put up on your website. If you're publishing it on your website, how much traffic do you already get to your website, Ron?
Okay, the website has not been launched yet. It's still a couple of weeks away.
Yes. How much traffic does Amazon get, Ron?
I would imagine they get like almost infinite traffic.
Yeah, hundreds of millions of visitors a month just on the website.
Wow.
On top of that are all the people that are using Kindle devices, whether that's an actual Kindle reader, whether that's software on an iPad, a cell phone, a computer that allows you to read Kindle. You have infinite amounts of traffic immediately by publishing it on Kindle as opposed to just publishing it on PDF. And when you publish it on Kindle, it does not at all prohibit you from also publishing it on your website in PDF format. You can do both. I love the idea of repurposing content. You don't ever want to take content and put it out in only one creative format. You want to put your content out in as many creative formats as possible. Now, usually, the objection people have to publishing on Kindle is all of the technology hurdles that exist. How am I going to do that? What is it going to take for me to get my book up into Kindle? I don't have the money to pay a publisher. At Directions University, we actually have a division called DU Press, or Directions U Press. You'll find it at joindu.com/DU Press. We have a flyer at joindu.com/DU Press flyer. When you publish with us, we automatically publish in Kindle and print formats both. We also give you a PDF that you can sell directly from your website. However, you don't need to publish with us to be able to get your book on Kindle. You can do it yourself. There is a fantastic free website owned by Amazon called CreateSpace. You'll find it at createspace.com. Ron, have you ever heard of CreateSpace?
I believe I've heard you mention it before, or some of the other folks here on DU, but I have not. I've not looked into it, but I have heard of it. Yes.
Wait until you hear what CreateSpace can do for you. If you want your book to be a print book that could be sold on either Amazon or in bookstores or even on your website, in order for it to be sold in those places other than your website, it needs to have what's called an ISBN number.
Mm-hmm.
An ISBN number is basically the serial number of your book. Typically, you've got to buy an ISBN number, $100-ish. If you put your book up into Amazon through CreateSpace, CreateSpace gives you an ISBN number for free. It can also give you an ISBN number for your Kindle book as well as a print book. When you use CreateSpace, they make it very easy for you to publish a Kindle book on Amazon and to take the same book and publish it on Amazon in print format. It doesn't cost you anything at all to publish your book on Amazon in print. It is print on demand, essentially. Amazon takes care of all of the printing for you. You can help Amazon get you more sales by initially sending traffic to it yourself so that your book can get high enough up in Amazon's rankings so that it gets found on Amazon more frequently. I would use CreateSpace at a minimum to put your book up on Kindle and print formats, both of them on Amazon. Then just simply promote the heck out of both the Kindle and the print on your website. Now, let me ask the big question that you asked back to you for a minute. What is the outcome you want for your book?
The outcome, I actually have a pretty darn big outcome in mind for that book. Trying to explain it here, let me just say that I want business owners and managers to change the way that they view the regulations that they're subject to, the federal and state regulations in regards to the waste management and safety and that kind of thing. That's what it's all about. I want them to change their viewpoint towards the regulations as being something that is imposed upon them to actually change, so that they can view those regulations as a minimum, and therefore where they can rise above the regulatory requirements in a collaborative way. So that, I guess I would have to say that's my outcome.
Can the book do that on its own, or will the book simply raise more questions that they will need more answers to?
Oh no, the book would never be able to do it by itself. It is the regulations are so complex that it's really just a I put it out there as a introduction to the idea that compliance, the whole concept of compliance, we have upside down. It should be looked at. A lot of people look at compliance saying that this is the maximum I'm going to do, and it should actually be the minimum that we're going to do. So, so that's. Go ahead.
So, in the book, where is it that you tell them how they can get your help in doing all the things that they need to do to apply what they're learning in the book?
That's a really good question. I didn't really have a particular section in the book devoted to that, if that's what you're asking for. I mean, there isn't anything as simple as I do have basically at the end of the book a call to action, pretty much, some information how to get in touch with me and a little bit about the work I do.
Guess what? Just
What?
one place is never enough. One place, you'll be lucky to get 1% of the book buyers to click on a link or get in touch with you. Even 1%.
Mm-hmm.
You want to
That's
get
not.
you want to get that call to action in at least 3 to 5 places, as many as possible. So one thing you're going to do is, by putting the book into both Kindle and print format, you're going to need to use a template in order to format it properly to use CreateSpace. CreateSpace gives you the template. If you can use Microsoft Word, you can apply the template.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel like doing it by yourself because it is a little tedious and time-consuming, go out to Fiverr, Fiverr.com. For $5, you can pay somebody to use the template and apply it to your document to get your book underway. Easy. Have to do it twice, so it'll cost you $10. Once for $5 for the print, $5 for the Kindle. At the bottom of every other page, the one on the right-hand side or the one on the left-hand side, I'm not picky, you want your call to action with the link visible at the bottom of every other page throughout the entire book. Could you go in to the end of every chapter of the book and put in a next steps that is giving them their assignment to apply what they just read about in that chapter? And in the next steps, have a way for them to get back to doing something more on your site. Whether that's opting in, whether that's setting up a consult, whether that's selling them something, I'm not real picky. Is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
Just like the answer I gave to Dale earlier, in everything you do, you've got to be crystal clear on your outcome. And just because you're clear on the bigger picture outcome for the book doesn't mean that you've exhausted looking at the outcome. How you do everything depends on the outcome of what you're doing. So you wrote the book to meet that big picture outcome. Now, how are you going to format the book? How are you going to distribute the book? How are you going to drive people to the book? Every single one of those things has an outcome attached to it that you need to get crystallized in your own head so that you can make sure that you get a really good result from this. Last summer, Jack and I, when we introduced our new division, Directions University Press, we did an entire workshop, 2.5 days. We brought in some of the biggest experts in the authoring and publishing arena, including the person that we have an alliance with, Justin Sachs, the founder of Motivational Press. DU Press is an imprint of Motivational Press. So Justin was on hand for the entire 2.5 days. We also brought Elsom Eldridge in. Elsom is the best-selling author of The Obvious Expert. The Obvious Expert is a book that's all about how to become the obvious expert in your niche by utilizing the power of a book. and turning that book into a bestseller. And so many other people, I can't even tell you all their names right now. We'd be here for an hour. If you go to joindu.com/EAWDU, and I'll go pop this in on the notes for you guys.
Gina, I got it. You keep talking.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you, Lynn.
Got it.
joindu.com/EAWDU. We put together a little package that starts with a series of videos that are completely and totally free. So go sign up and get those videos. Through that package, you'll get exposed to one of the modules, How to Write Your Bestseller in a Weekend. It's only $10. And at the end of those 4 videos, you'll learn more about the actual workshop. If you want to go jump right into the workshop right now, just joindu.com/EAW. Ron, as a DU Bachelor student, you already have access to the Entrepreneurial Authoring Workshop. It's in your account on DU right this minute. So go get logged in on your account, and once you're there, just go to joindu.com/EAW, and instead of the sales page, you will instead see the thank you page. I think if you work your way through some of the modules in that course, it will really help a lot in getting the best outcome possible for your book. We talk about things like, how does your book fit into your business? We do cover planning and writing your book, and even though your book is written, I would absolutely go through that module anyway. That module is not just about the actual writing of the book. It's what are you doing within the book to lead people into everything else in business. Then we talk about covers. What do you want to do with covers? This is another favorite feature of mine with CreateSpace. CreateSpace has the coolest little cover wizard. It makes it super easy for you to actually create your cover yourself right inside of CreateSpace. Then we cover publishing models, including CreateSpace.
But I'm getting
Whoever that is that just joined us, Lynn.
Beth Joy, can you mute yourself, please? I'm sorry, Zelinda. Can you please mute yourself? Mute your phone, not your camera. Your camera's fine. Mute your microphone.
CreateSpace. CreateSpace has the coolest little cover wizard. Hang on, let me go over there real quick. Create your cover yourself right inside of
Zelinda. I'm sorry, everyone. Zelinda.
I got it.
Okay.
We cover bestseller campaigns. Once your book is out there in either print or Kindle format, what do you want to do to turn it into a bestseller? I'm certain that if you want that big outcome, you're going to need to turn it into a bestseller, aren't you, Ron?
Oh, absolutely.
Then we cover marketing your book. We even cover outsourcing in your book. So much easier if you don't have to do it all yourself. And when you pick up the Entrepreneurial Authoring Workshop, Davin Michaels, one of our faculty members for that workshop, he's even going to gift you with 10 hours of VA services to get you started. Then we talk about interviews and your book, and joint ventures and your book, and becoming a best-selling author. Hug Seats was a fantastic 20-plus hours of content, all sitting there waiting for you right this minute. So, Ron, I think that will really help you a lot in getting your book out there.
I believe so too, and I'd really like to thank you for putting that together for us. That is, I spent quite a bit of time putting the book together, and now it's time to actually get some value back out of that and begin to accomplish that outcome.
Absolutely. And DU Press is a different kind of publisher. Most publishers, if you put that book out there as a self-published author, they would not take that book on later on. They'd make you change it or get a unique version before they would publish it. DU Press is not that kind of a publisher. Let's put that book out there. Let's get that book to generate the the revenues that you need to cover the cost of publishing with DU Press, it's only $5,000. I'd bet one back-end customer for that book would cover it, wouldn't it, Ron?
Well, I don't know anything at all about the book business. This is the first time I've ever kind of ventured into this, but if you believe that, I believe it too.
But let's put it this way. How much is a customer worth to you if they actually read the book, took the action you wanted, called you, and started working with you? How much is that worth to you?
Average customer worth $2,000 to $3,000 minimum.
So we're going to need 2 customers to get the $5,000 to publish with DU Press.
That doesn't sound too tough.
I don't think so. Not if we can get that book to be a bestseller. Pretty easy, I would think.
Right.
The difference is this. If you're self-publishing, whether you're using CreateSpace or just PDF on your website, either way, the only way that book is going to get out there and do some good for you and your business is if you take on all of the marketing. You've got to go out and find the prospects. You've got to get them to your website. You've got to do it all. If you're coming into publishing with DU Press, you are not in this alone anymore. We get international distribution, 19 different countries. We'll get your book into bookstores all over the globe. We'll get your book more prominent exposure on Amazon. You get the benefit of the Motivational Press team who has done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of best-selling campaigns. They're going to be able to guide you in terms of what you do with the marketing so that you really do end up with more leverage. And just because it's now in bookstores, they can help you do things like book tours where you actually go out and do some book signings and some book readings. We can get that all set up for you. It will really change the level at which it will attract new clients for your business. Hugely different. So let's go use what you've got, do it on your own, use CreateSpace to help get you a little bit of leverage. Let's get those 2 customers worth $3,000 each, and then we'll come in and help you get it to the next level.
That sounds like a plan.
For those who don't know my story, you can go listen to it in a video at joindu.com/Gina intro. joindu.com/Gina intro. Years ago, I was very sick. I spent 10 years in a hospital bed and wheelchair. And during that time, I needed over $40,000 a month just to pay for my medication. Without it, I would have been dead in under 90 days. And because of that huge need for money, it really made me do everything differently. So I've had a hard, fast rule in my business since 1997. If I was going to spend any money at all, even $1, I had to make back more than what I was spending in a minimum not more than 72 hours. So what I'm talking about here with Ron, do this for free using CreateSpace, is exactly the same idea. If you don't have the money and you don't have a way to get the money up front, take an action that's designed to bring you a small sum of money so that you can invest in something that can get you a bigger result and more money. If you do have the money that you can at least invest, don't do the investment until you've got a concrete plan for how what it is you're buying, investing in, is really going to bring you back a return on investment quickly. Too often I see people with shiny object syndrome. They buy this new product and that new product and this next $1,000 product launch. And they all sit on the shelves and they never do them any good. I've never had the luxury of doing that, not when I was sick at least. I could do it now, but it's become a habit with me. Now I don't do it just for the principle of the matter. If I'm going to buy something, even if it's a $1,000 product, I'm either going to promote that product first, generate $1,000 in affiliate commissions, and then buy the product, or I'm going to study what I can before I buy it to have a concrete plan on how I'm going to take that product, use that product quickly, that day, the next day, maybe 2 or 3 days later, tops, so that that product can then bring me more than what I'm paying for. That'll serve you really well, Ron.
Well, thank you very much. I can really see the value, for me in particular, of the DU Press approach once I can get to that point, simply because I already have 2 full-time jobs. And for me to spend a whole bunch of time promoting and doing all of those functions that your people are capable of doing, there's no way I can do that on my own. And they can do it, but if they've already done it, why do I have to do it again? I mean, why do I have to
Absolutely.
reinvent that wheel? Good heavens.
Absolutely. And the other thing about DU Press is the downside of publishing with a publisher, more often than not, is the publisher takes the copyright. You no longer own your own copyright. I'm not a fan of doing things that way. Intellectual property, intellectual property is one of the most valuable assets in any business. At
Hmm.
DU Press, we don't own your copyright. You own your copyright. So it takes away the downside completely. Once you've published with us, you still own the copyright. You can do anything else you want with it, whether that's licensing, putting it out in a different way, whatever else you want to do with it. Repurpose it, for that matter. So, Ron,
I
I will look forward to working with you in DU Press.
Okay, me too. I always look forward to working with you in whatever format.
Thank
Um,
you so
okay,
much.
great. So I assume by now you have some other questions.
Well, I know we had Zelinda and we had Shelby. Where'd they go, Lynn?
Well, Shelby's having sound issues, and Zelinda did not, that I could see, put her question in where I could read it to you. But I do have a question from Beth Joy Boris, who's
Okay.
asking about using Google Hangouts. Can she show a PowerPoint slide? And it occurred to me as well to get you to expound on that in the context of PowerPoints and a book.
Absolutely. Yes, you can definitely show a PowerPoint. You've already seen me showing my screen several times today. I can show any screen on my computer through a Google Hangout. Honestly, I'd use Google Hangouts myself sometime, not because I want to have people joining me live like we're doing today, but just because it's the easiest way I know of to create a video. So if I want to do a little PowerPoint presentation to create a video with me talking over it, I'll just jump into a Hangout on air, let YouTube record it for me on autopilot, turn on my PowerPoint instead of showing my face, and away I go, and in a few minutes, I've got my video done. It's the easiest way to create video sales letters, to create videos that can welcome new people as customers or members of your site, to do pretty much anything that's video related. Lynn, do you use it that way also?
I do. I do. It's been amazing for me. I have a web TV show and I use it there. And the nice thing about it is that I have begun to repurpose those shows by downloading the transcript and getting ready to start putting together another book because of the transcripts.
Hopefully everyone knows what you're talking about there. Let me go get into a YouTube screen real quick and show them what you mean. This is really cool, guys. In case you weren't aware of it, YouTube does a transcript on every single video. Now, it's not always a great transcript. However, it's not a bad transcript, is it, Lynn?
No, it's not. It's better than starting from scratch. I'll put it that way.
It really is. So let me switch over to my YouTube screen. Right here where it says closed captions. Captions are transcript. It's easier to do this from inside of an account. Let me go into my channel. So if I go in to edit any video that's already there, let's see if I go in and edit this one. It's a nice short one. Subtitles in CC. Lynn, where's the transcript that should be there already?
It is actually under information and settings. I just found it again last night.
They moved it. It used to be
Yes.
under subtitles.
It's under one of the buttons that says more.
Advanced settings. Why do they constantly change stuff on us?
No, and I thought I had written it down.
Well, it's in here, guys. Trust me on this one.
It is there. You know what? I will look for it while you continue on, and then I will let you know when I found it, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. So that is a really cool feature. I love doing that as well. When you can go in, look at your transcripts on your videos after you've uploaded them. YouTube's doing it for you on autopilot, whether you know it or not. If you aren't aware that they are there, go check them out. More often than not, the transcripts are not very accurate always. The longer the video is, the better the chance that it's not very accurate. Those transcripts have huge, huge value to your videos. They are where Google gets the SEO stuff, the search engine optimization stuff. I think that's really why Google developed transcripts for video in the first place. They don't have a way to know what the content of a video is unless they can convert it into real words that they can read like a transcript would. If you're putting videos up to drive traffic to your site and the transcript is not accurate, what do you think that's going to do for your search engine rankings? They're not going to be very accurate either. So Lynn will tell us in a few minutes where to find that transcript. Go check out your transcript, download it. You can edit it and re-upload it. Really works extremely well. And boy, it saves you a bundle of money, doesn't it, Lynn?
It does. It does. And it's really pretty easy for you to edit the video yourself because you were there. You can get to the important parts. You can pull out pieces of it. One of the things that I've recently started doing on a more consistent basis is cataloging the timestamp so that I can find a particular place where I want to actually focus on pulling out that information, either in the video or in the transcript. And it has just really made things a lot easier to find.
One of my favorite vendors is one of my good friend's moms and sisters at ladyscribes.com. Lady Scribes actually can do transcripts for videos for you. If you've got a particularly bad transcript and it's just not very good, go to ladyscribes.com and get Pat and her daughter to actually do a better transcript. They'll even upload it into YouTube for you, which is great. And they are so reasonably priced. So reasonably priced. About half the price of other places that I get transcripts done from. If you do use them, make sure you tell them Gina sent you. So, Lynn, who's our next question?
Greetings. Oops. Welcome to... We had a question from Jane Gardner. Jane hadn't really planned on being here with us today, but she popped in, she hung around for a while, she put her question in the comments box, and it is, can you brainstorm with me how to leverage a course that is not in my field?
Ooh.
And maybe even why you would want to leverage a course that's not in your field.
That's a really good question. So, the only reason you might have for leveraging a course that's not in your field is it at least has some value to the audience that you serve. If it doesn't, it's probably not worth doing at all. I wish Jane was still here to give us the example that she's got in her head. Let me see if I can think of an example. Here's a really good one. In the wedding industry, if you look at a site called bridalassociationofamerica.com, I'm going to go pull this up again. They actually have a ton of statistics about the wedding industry on bridalassociationofamerica.com. Go down about halfway under fun stuff, and you'll see wedding statistics. Now, when you get to the wedding statistics, they have something called online wedding market. You would think that if you sold, say, wedding dresses, that what you should be doing is selling wedding dresses. Except that's not necessarily the case. In the online world, people who are doing things, spending money related to weddings, are spending money on researching as well as buying all the various products in the wedding industry. When it comes to wedding dresses, a lot more people spend money researching how to buy the perfect wedding dress than the number of people and the dollars spent buying wedding dresses. However, at the bottom of these statistics is additional items. See all these additional items down here? Those people who are spending money online related to weddings are also spending money researching automotive, financial services, furniture and household items, home, insurance, and they're spending money buying those things as well. So if you've got a wedding business and you've got it online, it could be a good idea to get a product related to financial services, a product related to insurance. What kind of insurance does a newlywed couple need? Might be a good title of an ebook. In that type of an instance, using another type of product as leverage would be huge. It gives you the ability to do two things. Number one, you can go out and do the marketing on that yourself so that those people who are out there looking at wedding stuff, but right this minute are researching insurance or financial services, they can find you under those topics as well. By the time they come into your world, you just need to build a system that bridges the gap between financial services and weddings and the stuff that you sell on the back end of the business. The second thing it can do is it can make it easier to approach different kinds of JV partners. If your audience is brides, and you know that brides are also out there looking at financial services, why not go to someone who does financial services for newlyweds? If you've got a product that you can sell to their audience that relates to financial services, it'll make it a lot more likely that they're going to say yes to the joint venture. So sometimes you use that synergistic product to reach customers. Sometimes you're really using it to reach JV partners. Does that make sense, Lynn?
It does, Gina. Makes perfect sense.
Do not rely on your intuition to tell you that it is a product that fits for your audience. Go do the research, and I cannot stress this enough. I cannot even tell you how many times in researching markets I have found things that were just totally wild. I never would have thought of them ever. And I've also found conclusive evidence that things I really thought would be true weren't. Another really strange one happens in the golf industry. Golfers are also skiers, and a huge percentage of golfers are also into martial arts. Well, who would have thought golfers and martial arts? Golfers and skiers, aren't they like opposite ends of the athletic spectrum? At least I think they are. There's also, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also this itty-bitty little cross-section of the golfer market that consists of people who are golfers and skiers and martial arts people, all three. Well, golf is getting to be a bit of a crowded niche. There's a lot of people in the golf industry online. Instead of going into the crowded market space, What if you instead went after that teeny tiny little sub niche of golfers who are into skiing and martial arts? So everything you do combines all three topics? Just because you're going after a teenier slice of your market, you'll be able to talk to them in a language that will get the conversions up so much that even though you took a tiny section of your market, you ended up making a lot more money and it was a lot less effort in the end. So do the research to find those little gems that could lead you to massive leverage, like the golf niche. I don't know if that answers Jane's question or not. Maybe if she's still out there, she could chime in the comment box and let us know if it did.
Well, I was looking at that, and it looks like she's had to go. And Zelinda looks like she's back out in the audience.
Hi, Zelinda. Let's try getting you back in. Anybody need help researching their market? Like what we just talked about? Boy, it's one of my favorite things, isn't it, Lynn?
Yes. Here's a question from, I can't tell who this is from, but how do I find the crossover groups? What tools can be used to find the crossover groups?
Great question.
And I'm sure that you want to ask some questions about that question.
Don't necessarily need to. I can give you a couple of key pieces that you can use right this minute. So notice where I'm at now. On this document, this is bridalassociationsofamerica.com. Associations. Associations have real gold hidden within them. Almost every association actually does work to research the market that they serve. They do it because a lot of their members are vendors who serve that same market as well. Oftentimes, you can find associations that are really trade associations. No matter what type of consumer niche you go into, there is likely to be an association for the vendors in that niche. Those trade associations almost always have an extensive amount of data, and it's through their data that you can get to those crossover groups. Usually, if you are not a paying member of the association, you can't get to the gems like you can on Bridal Associations of America for free. Usually you have to be a paying member to see it on their website. But that's okay. Pick up the phone and call them. Tell them that you are a student at Directions University and you're working on a research project for a class that you're taking. Changes everything. If you instead pick up the phone and call in and say, "Hi, I'm building a business in this industry and I'd like to see this kind of data. Can you help me?" They're going to say, "Sure, join our association. It's only $2,000 a year." When you're a student, changes everything. Remember that in addition to niche-specific associations, there are demographic-specific associations. One of my favorite sites to get this kind of data from is AARP. AARP, about 7 years ago, opened up an entirely separate division that does nothing but research baby boomers, people over the age of 50, so baby boomers and seniors both. You can pick up the phone and call their research department, and when they hear that you're a student, they really love it. So aarp.org/research can get you to the basic research section, but then pick up the phone and call them. If you're going after an audience that's 50 and up, they are going to have so much information to help you, whether that's information about specific problems that the audience has and the solutions that they're used to, how the audience uses the power of the internet, how the audience uses mobile phones, what kinds of mobile phones, what things do they do on the mobile phones. The gold that comes out of those types of studies is just invaluable. Second tool for finding crossover groups, media kits of magazines. In this case, Google is really your friend, big time. Just go to Google, put in the topic or niche that you're in. So I'll say web media kit, and I'm going to put media kit in quotes. Look at all the wedding magazines that have media kits. Bridalguide.com. Let's go see what this PDF looks like. When you're looking at media kits, it's not quite as straightforward as when you're looking at data from an association study. It's more that you have to read between the lines. But in most media kits, it's going to do things like show you the covers, read what it talks about in the articles on the covers. In this case, you're seeing things like honeymoons, not just wedding dresses, kitchen stuff, not just wedding dresses. What's that telling you about the market? It's telling you quite a bit, actually. It also tells you what their editorial calendar looks like. Look at the editorial calendar. It's going to tell you a lot about the crossover things that can happen in that market. And it usually gives some guidance to prospective advertisers about the types of products that that audience is already buying. Think about what a media kit is to a magazine. It's how they make the majority of their money. It's the guidance that they're giving to their potential advertisers. And advertisers aren't going to advertise more than once unless they get a return on investment. So the media kit is telling an advertiser what they need to know to get the biggest return on investment, spending money on advertising with that magazine. So the crossover groups are almost always in the media kits for pretty much every decent-sized magazine I've ever seen. Great question.
Yes.
Don't get me started on that one because I could be there researching for days. It's one of my favorite activities. That does bring up one other point, though, for all of you. When you're in the planning phase and you're doing the research, it really can be addicting, especially if you're someone like me. It really is addicting for me. I physically have to give myself a deadline. When is it that I will say enough is enough, no matter how much data I have at this point, I'm calling it quits and I'm moving on to doing the next step. You got to set that time-based deadline for yourself, or you can get lost in the planning phase of business for months and months and months and months. That's what brought us to that survival challenge that we talked about earlier. Typically, it's going to take a good 30 days of research to really get to the meat of what you need to build your strategic plan. In Motivation to Profit, we talk about this in Lesson 5, identifying your ideal customer. Some of the assignments in Lesson 5 are the things I've just talked about, using things like media kits, the data you can find from associations, even the information that you can find by reading reviews on Amazon, reviews of both books and physical products. All of it can really help you find those crossover groups. The outcome of Lesson 5 in Motivation to Profit specifically is what can you do to identify that one and only one ideal customer that is going to form the basis of everything you do. You're going to actually write an ideal customer character sketch. It's a narrative, it's a story. It's that thing that really is getting into the head of your ideal customer. It allows you to really be clear on those crossover groups. the things that your people are out there buying right now, it's a lot easier to get someone to shift their buying habits to doing business with you than it is to get them to buy something they weren't necessarily buying already. You can actually buy Lesson 5 separately. If you go to joindu.com/ATV, A for Apple, T for Tom, V for Victor, joindu.com/ATV will bring you to a product that we call the Amazing Traffic Vortex. It is a free guide that is about 30-some pages long that explains the vortex model of doing business. After you've opted in for the Amazing Traffic Vortex, you're taken to an opportunity to buy just that one lesson from Motivation to Profit, the one on ideal customers. It's only $7, guys. If you decide you want to come in and get all the rest of the lessons in Motivation to Profit and the hug seat calls and everything else that's included in that package, the project management system, etc., there's an opportunity to get into everything after you've gotten that $7 one-piece lesson. So don't wait. Go get it now. Check it out. Download the Amazing Traffic Vortex. It really is going to help you stay focused in your business. It's also going to help you get a lot more leverage. And I see we lost Lynn accidentally. Lynn, I hope you're coming back in. In the meantime, Ron or Dale, anything I can help you guys with?
This is Dale.
Go ahead, Dale.
I just typed in, what are the top 5 metrics to include for the ideal customer?
Oh, really great question. Let me answer that with a link. joindu.com/. It's not so much metrics. It's getting enough data to be able to tell the story of who your ideal customer is. So you actually want to humanize who that person is in great detail. Actually be able to go so far as to get a picture of who that person is, one that you can put into a beautiful frame and put on your mantle, just like you would put the pictures of your family members. Your ideal customer is just as much a part of your family as your spouse or your children. They are the person you are in business to serve. They are the reason you make money. So you want both demographic data, those measurable things like their age, their income, their occupation, as well as their psychographic characteristics. Psychographics are the things that are not as measurable. Their religion would be a demographic characteristic. If their religion was Roman Catholic, it has a corresponding psychographic characteristic, which means a belief in God would be the psychographic that goes with it. You want to know demographics, psychographics, and geographics. Geographics is not just city, state, and country. Geographics includes, do they live in the city or in the country? Do they live in a house, an apartment, a mansion, a townhouse, or something else? It's all those little details that relate to the geography of that person. All of it comes together in your buyer persona, or what I call the ideal customer character sketch. On joindu.com/viability, page 7 has that character sketch, and it's pretty darn detailed. In this case, the ideal customer is someone named John. John is married. He and his wife have been married for 10 years. They have 3 children between the ages of 3 and 9. They've been in their dream home for 5 years. John has been working as an accountant since college, thinking that everything was going well for his family. Now, reading this, you might think that the person who wrote it picked some stuff out of thin air, wouldn't you think, Dale?
Yeah, and I have a follow-up question when you're done with this, because you stimulated my brain.
Awesome. None of this was picked out of thin air. Every single element in this story was based on hard research. So if you've done the research and you know that your ideal customer is, say, 48 years old, go do the research and ask yourself, 48 years ago, what was the most popular name for men born that year? That's likely to be John in this particular case. One of my students, Dr. Ina Gilmore from Caregiving with Purpose, her ideal customer's name is Lisa. She took this to such huge levels that she can even tell you Lisa's shoe size, Lisa's favorite color. And everything about what she's done on her business is based on what she knows about Lisa from her research. Lisa was the most popular name the year that her ideal customer was born, and that's how she came up with it. What's been really interesting to watch on caregivingwithpurpose.com is not necessarily what's going on with prospects and customers, but what's going on with the peers. Ina has won so many awards for Caregiving with Purpose. She's been asked to be on 7 or 8 different advisory boards, all of them groups that really have her ideal customers. And I really truly believe that it's because of the level at which she did the research to discover who Lisa really was in the first place. Go ahead with the follow-up question, Dale.
I was writing it down so that I would be fast. So how can I, instead of starting from scratch, because I already have a customer base, I'd like to create this ideal customer using some of the attributes that are in the existing customer base, and so I'm not sure how to get more information out of the history that I have in my computer.
Do you know about Facebook's Power Editor tool?
No, I don't really use Facebook much.
Unfortunately, this computer isn't fully set up, so I can't demonstrate it for you. You need to use Chrome, not any other browser. Go into Chrome, go to facebook.com/business, click from there into Facebook's advertising section. In the advertising section, you will see an option to add a Facebook extension called the Power Editor. Facebook's Power Editor is so incredible. Here's one of the things you can do with it. I imagine that you have a CSV file or could create one that contains the name and email address of all of your past customers. Is that true, Dale?
I've never thought about doing that, but I could, yeah.
And I would imagine you could also create a separate CSV file that is just your subscribers, but not necessarily your customers.
Yes, I have that already.
Perfect. I would take both CSV files, bring them into the Power Editor. In the Power Editor, one of the options is called an audience-like or lookalike audiences. You upload a CSV file of an audience that you want to emulate. It will run it through Facebook. Now think about what Facebook knows about each user on Facebook. Facebook knows an awful lot about each user just because of how we build profiles, don't they, Dale?
Yeah, so I create a CSV with their name and their email address, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and then I put it into Facebook, and Facebook will find the matching people?
Facebook will first come up and tell you all the characteristics of the people on that list. It will then create a lookalike audience that you could actually run ads to. And the lookalike audience will have similar criteria to the people that were on the list that you uploaded.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you. Yeah, that's very powerful. I didn't know I could do that.
And while, yes, you could then take that to the next level and use paid ads on Facebook to reach more people like yours, you can also stop just after it tells you all the data about that audience to get yourself a starting point. Then use what you've gotten from the Power Editor to go do some of the kinds of research that I'm talking about here.
Great, thank you.
Really helpful.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that. I took all kinds of notes.
Awesome. Let me see if I can find anyone else that had questions on here while I'm waiting to see if Lynn's coming back. I wonder if she had computer issues.
She certainly must have. I can't imagine her just dropping off because she got bored.
I can't imagine that either. Is the place that you guys are putting in questions on Google Plus or on YouTube? Do you know, Ron?
I'm doing it in the Hangout on Google Plus.
In the Hangout on Google Plus. I wonder how I see that.
I had to close that one to be in the one. I'm on the Google Plus Hangout, but it's on a different page than I was originally on because I don't know, it was echoing, so I turned off the other page. So now I'm only on the one page, but I've been typing questions on another computer that just does Hangout, I don't know, chats or something.
I wonder where I can find that. It's definitely not on the event page. I don't know where to go to see that, Ron. How did you get to it, Ron?
Well, see, I have the Hangout open, and I can see you and the others down at the bottom here, and on the right-hand side there's a group chat box, but that has only told me that Zelinda joined the chat, she left the chat, Lynn left the chat group. There aren't any actual postings or questions there. Let me look at the other side here. No, I stopped that one already. So unfortunately, I really don't have an answer for you there.
That's okay. Oh, maybe it is right on the event page.
Okay, that's the posting that you made.
Yes,
right?
It does look like Lynn has checked back in again.
Ah, yep, I see her, 10:23.
Yeah.
She should be here by now. Lynn, come back.
And Carrie says, I'm wondering specifically how much power is lost, if any, by not having your membership site and courses on your own domain. Oh, really good question, Carrie. Lately, there have been a lot of new tools that have launched. Things like Kujabi, for example, or Infusionsoft has a membership site tool. Lots and lots of membership site tools that allow you to put your membership site on a different domain name, not necessarily on your own website. It depends upon what the outcome is for putting up a membership site. If you're putting up a membership site, you can really go for several different outcomes with it. Obviously, the biggie is you're doing it to make money in the first place. But what if your membership site could also be the thing that attracts new customers to you and drives traffic on autopilot? Here's what I mean by that. In September of 2014, Google changed how it ranked websites. It's called Google's Hummingbird algorithm. Hummingbird is a very, very huge change in how Google ranks websites. It's the most massive change that they've done since they opened their doors years and years ago. With Hummingbird, one of the single most important factors in getting your website ranked in search is engagement. Engagement can be difficult to measure. In Google's case, here's how they do measure it. Number one, are people talking about your site? They talk about your site on Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Twitter and all the other social sites. Are they interacting with you? Are they sharing your site with other people? But Google also looks at the engagement levels on your website as well. How many pages do people see? How long do they stay? All those other things that measure engagement are really important to how you rank in search. Your members area is likely to be the single most engaging area of your website. Oftentimes, your members will stay a lot longer inside your members area than they will, say, on an article on your blog. At DU, this is certainly true. All of our products are membership levels. All of the products have huge trainings inside of them. Motivation to Profit, joindu.com/MTP. 40 plus lessons, each one an hour training. You got to be in the members area to see that 1 hour training. So a very engaged person going through that training as opposed to someone who's reading a blog post. If I took the content of that membership site off of directionsuniversity.com and put it onto Kajabi or Infusionsoft or any of the other myriad tools that allow you to build a membership site on a different domain name, I would lose all of those engaged visitors in Google's eyes. It would drastically reduce my search engine rankings. And the leverage that I got from all that engagement would be completely gone. I'd have to do a lot more to actually go out and get people doing things to share DU on social, to interact with DU on social. I really don't know what else I could do on the front end of DU that could emulate that level of engagement that could really bring me a lot more customers. So, Carrie, I know a lot of those tools say it's easier to do it this way. Your members area is going to look so much better when you do it this way. Yeah, that's nice, but at what cost? I wouldn't ever consider using an external thing to deliver my members areas. It really is just too costly. There's actually a program that I'm looking at right now that is built external to the website. And the only reason I have not said, yes, let's do this right this minute, because it will do so much for our courses at DU. The only thing that's held me back thus far is how do I compensate for the lack of leverage with my search engine rankings if we do it? It may turn out that it gives us so much more leverage that I don't have to worry about it. But I got to make sure that I'm clear on that before we go forward with it. Lynn, you're back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened to my connection in my office, but I'm now down here in the open space, and I'm back. And there is another question here. Will the Google Juice be the same using a subdomain? Because one of the platforms I'm looking at allows the subdomain name to be used, which was very attractive to me, but I'd love to get your feedback on that. Great question.
It is a great question. Unfortunately, subdomains in Google's eyes are completely different websites than the main domain. You can put a members area in a folder, and Google will perceive it as the same website as the main domain. But putting it into a subdomain, might as well put it on a completely different domain. Does not work the same way from Google Juice perspective. Great question.
Thank you. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yes, there is. What are the top 5 metrics to include in the ideal customer ID, unless you've gone over that already?
I did do that one. That was
Okay.
Dale's question, and he was nice enough to ask it for me, so I didn't have to go find it.
Great, great.
That was a good question, too, Dale.
You're making me dig in and get good questions. Thank you.
You are welcome. Well, guys, we've got about 20 minutes left to the Hangout today. If you've got any questions about building your business, I'm surprised that no one's asked joint venture questions yet. Usually those are most of the questions I get. If you want to jump in, come on in. Go ahead, Dale.
Okay, so, my niche is not, internet marketing or any kind of, it's alternative medicine, and finding joint ventures in the past hasn't been very easy. So what tips can you give me for doing a better job at locating the right ones first, and then communicating with them in the best light to get them to say yes?
What have you tried unsuccessfully thus far?
Well, I have reached out to a couple of them with emails. I haven't gotten much. I haven't got any response. I'm not on a joint venture, but I do have a relationship with a fairly large organization that put my information on their website. So that was one positive one, and I get leads from them, get referrals from them. But since I sell most of my income in the past has always been selling hard products, I don't have the big money available to give joint venture partners big amounts of money. So that's mostly what probably I think has been making it not work so well. So I'm working on digital products that I can have give more money to them, because that seems like a good lead generation source for me.
So joint ventures are all about creating what I call the win-win-win proposition. And there are 3 wins. The big win is not for either you or your JV partner. The first and biggest win is the win for the customer when the 2 of you work together. The second is the win for your JV partner. The third is the win for you and your business. If you can craft a big enough win for the customer, then the JV partner oftentimes doesn't even care about getting the bigger dollars. So think about those 3 wins. Now, it's not a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. Every JV partner, you're going to have to reposition those 3 wins ever so slightly, because no 2 JV partners are really alike. In terms of being outside of the internet marketing space, when you're outside of the IM space and in a different niche, especially one that's an alternative health and wellness type of niche, you've really got to educate your JV partners, because most of them don't even know what a joint venture is. If you go to them without even using the term joint venture, it's usually going to get you a better result. I do not recommend using email to reach a prospective JV partner. Not in any niche. You're going to get a lot more of what you've already got, no response. To get to a JV partner, sometimes you've got to go through gatekeepers. It's always a good idea to use phone, and even to use things like FedEx, something that can get delivered in an overnight big box type of thing. I can tell you some really cool stories that I've done in the past to land huge JV partners. I had a JV that I was organizing years ago that involved Joe Vitale. And we ended up buying Joe a briefcase that he'd been talking about openly on social for quite some time. Expensive, about $300. But we put a beautiful package together. Inside of the briefcase, we had a DVD. The DVD had a video with a JV invitation in it. We put some other things we knew Joe would love. We packaged it all up. We sent it next day air via FedEx. That one thing cost us about $400 altogether for everything that was in the package, plus the shipping. But it led to almost $80,000 worth of revenues. Would it be worth $400 to generate $80,000 worth of revenues, Dale?
Yes.
So be thinking in terms of what can you creatively do to get in front of JV partners, to get yourself noticed. One of my good friends is a guy by the name of Larry Benet, LarryBenet.com, BENET.com. Larry calls himself the connector. He's got some really cool ways of getting himself in front of people and getting noticed by them. One of his favorites is he calls and talks to the gatekeepers. He gets the gatekeepers to help him. So he might actually get the gatekeeper to send a picture of the person he wants to talk to with their family. He'll then have that framed and the frame will actually have a message around the edges of it with his contact info or some sort of message that he wants to get across, and he sends them back the same picture. It's their picture, but in a beautiful frame, one that they can't help showing off. He's had pictures of their kids put on coffee mugs, t-shirts, mouse pads, and he sends them to the people with a beautiful little note. Of course, the person's going to pick up the phone to call him and thank him for it, and now he's got his connection. There's lots and lots of creative ways that you can get a conversation with the decision maker for a joint venture. Now, understand that the JV partners that are really worthwhile, they're people that already make money, otherwise they wouldn't be a good JV partner for you. They're people who are really busy. They're out there doing what they do to make money now. When you show up, you're actually not helping them. Even if you could pay them 100% commissions, you're not helping them. You're a distraction. They don't need your money and your sales in order to make them money. It's a good idea to be thinking in terms of how can you craft the win for them in a way that doesn't really involve the money. In this way, my favorite solution is what's called integration marketing. It's actually what we do to market Directions University more often than not. Let me pull up a page to show you. Integration marketing is about things that you can do to get your product into someone else's product line, or what's called a funnel. So the easy way of doing that is to have a low-end membership site that you have a monthly fee attached to, that you can allow people to actually give away for a period of time as a bonus when they sell their own products. Think about what that just did. If you've got someone that you've been going to, Dale, asking them to promote your product line, well, you're asking them to stop doing what they're doing now to make money and to start doing something else just to help you out. It may make them money, it may not. And even if it does make them money, it's only a small percentage of the overall sales that it generates. Not very exciting. You just said you can't pay them enough on the physical products. However, if you go to them and say, you know, I love what you do. I'm not interested in having you promote me. I want to serve you. I want to help you. I really want to help you sell more of the thing that you're already selling. And to do that, I'd like to give you the ability to give away my membership as a bonus when you sell your own product. If you look at joindu.com/DU integrate, joindu.com/DU integrate, there is a video at the top. That video is an invitation from me and the Dean of the DU School of Business and Marketing, David Bullock, to JV partners that says basically, let us help you sell more of your products. We want to do that by allowing you to give away either 1 month or 3 months of our product, Motivation to Profit, a monthly membership site. When you do that, here's what that's going to do for you. In the video, we show a flow chart that's a pretty incredible flow chart. It is the entire funnel at DU. You can find it at joindu.com/funnel. joindu.com/funnel. If they give away Motivation to Profit for even 1 month as a bonus, it's done with their affiliate link. That affiliate link leads to all these dark green boxes. All these dark green boxes are all the other products that we sell at DU that they get commissions on. Honestly, I don't ever have people saying to me, well, I'm not going to promote your stuff unless you pay me 50% or more commissions. We don't pay 50% commissions, not to anybody. Typically, we pay around a 30% commission. And on our high-end products, Sometimes we don't pay any, and if we do pay a commission, it's like 5 to 10% tops. Why are they willing to promote without getting the bigger commission rates? Integration marketing. What they really want, what they really are doing it for, is to improve the sales of their own products. The fact that they're making any money at all on the bonus that they just gave away and all the other products that it leads to, that's a bonus to them. That's the cherry on the top, the whipped cream. It's the extra thing. It's not the meat and potatoes that keeps their lights turned on. So what could you do, Dale, that could help you to get a monthly membership site? Low price, not something huge, maybe $15 a month, $20 a month, just to have a vehicle that you could help serve your JV partners with, to help them sell more of what it is they've got to offer. Do you have anything like that now?
I have the components for that. I could put together that out of stuff that I've done in the past pretty readily.
I would do that.
Thank
And
you.
then emulate the DU Integrate page, joindu.com/DU Integrate. It's step-by-step instructions for them. We give them both an image and the HTML code to put their bonus on their sales page. We give them an image and HTML code that they can use to deliver the bonus on their thank you page. And then we give them a couple of autoresponder messages that they can insert into an autoresponder sequence after people have bought their product to ensure that the greatest number of people are actually claiming that bonus. Because not everybody claims bonuses, believe it or not. Actually, less than 5 to 10% of those who buy a product that comes with bonuses ever actually claim the bonus. Those autoresponder sequences, the 2 messages that were included, if we get them to put that into their autoresponder, it will bring that number up closer to 20%. So it can literally double the number of sales that we have as a result of the integration. That one little thing has been so effective at getting JV partners. Then all I've got to do is use the creative ways I've got of getting to the decision maker instead of getting stuck at the gatekeeper. The minute I can go to that decision maker, show them the video on the DU Integrate page, show them the DU funnel flowchart, it almost sells itself. I've talked to about a dozen people now in the last couple of weeks on this page, just about this page, and of that dozen or so people, we're either at 10 or 11 yeses. The other isn't even a no, it's a maybe. It is the single most effective thing I know of for getting JVs. And if you start with this, let them actually see what this does. Here's what's going to happen. Their customers that claim your bonus, they're going to go back to that person that gave them that bonus to thank them. They're going to tell them all the great stuff about the bonus. And when they start hearing it, now they then approach you about actually promoting you not just to their customers, but in the ways that you want to. Nothing else could have swayed their opinion and gotten them to do it, other than their customers are basically saying, please, would you do this? This is such a cool thing. Really, really is awesome. It really levels the playing field big time.
Do you have statistics on how many people end the 2 months or 1 month or 3 months or whatever you said, 1 or 3 you said, that actually pay and join your membership on an ongoing basis?
I'm running about 65 to 70% right now are sticking. So,
Wow.
again, it really depends on what you're doing. If they simply claim the bonus and now they've got stuff that they can get to and you're just leaving it up to them to get to it, the likelihood that they're actually going to stick is going to drop way down. I doubt 20% would stick at that point. But during that trial, whether it's 1 month or 3 months, if you're doing things proactively to ensure that they consume what they've got access to, it's not hard to get them to stick. So little things like Do you know what retargeting or remarketing is?
Yes, I know what retargeting is.
For everyone else who's not sure or hasn't heard about it, retargeting is a type of advertising. It allows you to drop a cookie on people's computer when they visit a specific page of your website. Based on that cookie, as they go out and surf the internet, they will see ads on a variety of different websites. Because of that cookie, you have the ability to insert your ad on all those other websites. There are many different services that allow you to do retargeting. You can do Facebook ads that are retargeting, so that when people are on Facebook seeing ads on Facebook, they could be seeing your ad on Facebook. You could do something with perfectaudience.com that goes into a large network of properties that have ad blocks on them. Even local newspapers will oftentimes have ad blocks that Perfect Audience can get your ad in. You can use retargeting to get prospects to make a purchase from you for the first time. But you can also get retargeting to help you get the people who took you up on the trial to consume your content so that they stick. After they register for that trial, drop a retargeting cookie on their computer. Then put a campaign together that is, hey, you're on the first week of your trial. Have you done this thing and that thing yet? Put a link that goes back to the members area. You do pay per click when you're doing retargeting. But if it really is going to be the thing that gets your stick rate up closer to 100%, isn't it well worth paying for that click? Doesn't have to cost you a huge sum of money to pay for that click. It really does make it so much easier to get them to stick. You can use retargeting. You can use things like autoresponder sequences. You can put a little system together where you hire someone who can do a proactive welcome call at the 7-day mark, at the 14-day mark, short enough that they still remember signing up, but far enough in advance of the first billing that they really go, wow, there's something unique about this. Make sense, Dale?
It does. How do you get them to the first billing? That's the part I guess I was confused about, because if you're giving them free access, when would you have collected their billing information?
When they go to claim my bonus, in order to set up their account to access the lessons, they must first set up their subscription. It has a 30-day trial attached to it or a 90-day trial attached to it. So if they don't want to stay, they've got to cancel the subscription, or it's going to bill on day 31 or day 91 automatically. Only then do they have the ability to create the account and log into the members area.
Okay, that's a different way than I've given stuff away. I appreciate that, because I think I've done it the wrong way in the past. Thank you.
Yes, don't just leave it to chance. Don't give it away freely and then 30 days from now make them come in to set up their subscription. That is a horrible way to do it. It will be very unlikely to get even 2% of the buyers to actually set up their subscription.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Right. Doing it the way I just described, you're going to really get a huge percentage to stick, especially on a low-priced membership site. The key to the stick rate is not going after every prospective JV partner as an integration partner. Only go after those that really have your ideal customer. So if you've got a product that's pretty generic and it works for everybody, you think you could go to all your JV partners who have anybody, you're going to have a really low stick rate. Instead, take the product that does work for everybody and nicheify it. Actually create slightly different sales pages that people are going to go to get the bonus. So in my case, in Motivation to Profit works for so many different kinds of entrepreneurs. I could have a sales page for coaches, a different sales page for authors, a different sales page for chiropractors, a different sales page for photographers. Each one is going to talk about the problem that that audience thinks they have, and it's going to tell stories about how Motivation to Profit solved that particular problem. That way I can go to the JV partner that has tons of photographers and have him send his people to a photographer-specific page. I can also go to someone that has chiropractors, have them come into a chiropractic page. I can also change my autoresponder sequence so that photographers see a slightly different version of messages than chiropractors. Anything you can do to have a match between the message, the market, and the time will make that stick rate drastically improve.
Well, that's been a tremendous value to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lynn, any other questions?
Yes, Elaine Allen asks the question, what platform would you recommend for building a membership site? Would that be WordPress or something else?
Great question. You want one website and only one website for your business. To have multiple websites makes your life really hard, and it really takes away so much leverage. You want to build your website using WordPress. WordPress is now used by over 40% of all websites on the internet today. Google loves it. And just by using WordPress as opposed to many of the other platforms that are out there for building a website, you will get at least some bump in search engine rankings. Because you're now building your site on WordPress, you want your membership site to also be on WordPress. At DU, we use two products to incorporate into WordPress and create our members areas. The first is called Wishlist Member. joindu.com/wishlist. joindu.com/wishlist. Wishlist is a content protection system. It doesn't give you a member's dashboard or a member's area necessarily. It simply protects content to make sure that unless they're already logged into a members area and they have access to that membership level, they're not going to actually be able to see the content. To get the content formatted properly, we use another product that works with Wishlist. It's called WP Courseware. I love WP Courseware. With WP Courseware, you create your lessons or your members' materials on either posts or pages, and then you simply click one link that says Convert to Course Unit, and it converts that post or page into something within WP Courseware. Courseware makes it so easy to create websites that are members areas that actually have courses on them or information products. Let me see if I can find the link to it. I think it is joindu.com/WP course. joindu.com/WP course. It's not a super expensive plugin at all. See what it says. Get 10% off now. For a two-site license, it's only $99. I think it's $67 for a single site.
And that link again was what?
joindu.com/WP course. joindu.com/WP course. It actually allows you within information in members areas to incorporate things like quizzes. The quizzes can be self-scored. It can then have a leaderboard, so you can actually have a way for people to see everybody's scores from quizzes. It even has a way to do certificates of completion at the end of a training program. We love courseware, and it makes it so much easier for us to deliver products like Motivation to Profit, the Directions University Bachelor's Program, etc. Lynn, isn't it so elegant to go through the courses on DU?
It really is. It's quite easy, and you can easily track yourself.
You can, so you always know where you left off, where you kind of come back to. Really cool. And the quizzes, oh my gosh, they're so easy to create. So easy to create. And it works together with wish lists so that you can protect the content of the materials in courseware using wish list. Wish list does things like the adding your people to an autoresponder and whatnot, but courseware actually delivers the content.
That sounds exactly like something I need to look into, Gina.
Oh, for what you do, Ron, this is a perfect combination.
Yes, it is, because that's actually one of the things that my new website is going to be about, training managers and owners in the different regulations that I deal with. Initially, I thought about doing just online training for the employees, but that's really dirt cheap work these days. $20 a class or something like that. I'm looking to shoot for the next level up, and this sounds like a really it sounds perfect.
And it's so easy to use. That's the part I love so much. Ease.
Oh yes.
Yes.
It is good, Ron. I bought it and started playing with it, and I've started creating course material with it. So I've got a lot in 3 other different methods that I've delivered courseware, and this is a lot better.
Yeah, I've tried many others as well. Even things like Moodle, which was really, really hot a number of years ago. And I like this so much better. Very intuitive. Not a big learning curve with it at all. If you know how to use WordPress to create a post or a page, you can do courseware easily.
Wow.
Any other questions, Lynn?
I am looking now, and it looks like we have covered everyone's questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a technology question. I notice that when the camera's on you, that the camera seems to move in and out and kind of focus on you.
Yes.
How do you do that?
The camera does it for me. It's a Logitech camera.
Okay, which one?
I'm going to tell you in a sec. It is, what Logitech camera is it?
Gina withholds no secrets.
I don't. Okay. What Logitech camera did Shelby buy me? Come on, there's got to be a model number on it somewhere. You know what? I'm not seeing the model number. I will go look it up in my Amazon account, and I will publish it in the event on Google Plus so you can find out what camera type it is. Isn't that cool?
It's tremendous. It's like you got your own cameraman focusing on them. How does she do that?
Well, the reason that I wanted it to be able to do that in the first place is when I am on camera, I can't stay stationary for 2 hours. When I've been switching over to the screen, I've been pacing around my deck quite a bit, and I need to do that because I've had 9 major back surgeries. Well, this camera has the ability to actually follow me as I pace back and forth on my deck, and completely hands-free. Isn't that cool?
Follow up, are you on a wireless headset or is that a wired headset?
This one is wired, so
okay.
Today I've got about a 12-foot plug attached to me. I really need to go back and get a wireless headset so that I can be a lot more mobile. I would not be sitting down at all today if I had my wireless headset.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing.
For the whole setup, I bought the camera, I bought a portable camera that has an external audio source on it, the wired headset that I'm on, lavalier mics that are wireless, all of the green screen, black screen, white screen, and frames to hang them on, and all of the professional lighting. My students bought it for me as a birthday gift last year. All of it, all together, was about $350. I'm telling you guys, there is no reason why we cannot all look like we are professional newscasters on camera today. Mm-hmm. So easy and very inexpensive.
Thank you.
Well, Lynn, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a blast, guys. I hope that we can see you guys all at DU in the future. I'm going to give you guys a little gift today. Jack's going to kill me, I think. We've been talking about integration marketing. I've told you a little bit about motivation to profit, and you know that if you buy other people's products, there's a 30-day trial on some of them. Well, what if I give you guys a 30-day trial on motivation to profit right now? You can get it at joindu.com/MTP30. joindu.com/MTP30. If you are already a Motivation to Profit member, can't give you that free month, but here's what I can do. I can give you a one-on-one strategy session with me personally. You can go get signed up right now at askggg.com/strategy. askggg.com/strategy. I'll make sure that I do that call personally for all of you that were here with me today. Thank you so much, guys. If you want to see us do this more at DU, just let me know in the event page. I want to make sure that we've got some really good questions. You guys had great questions today. So let us know if you want us to do this more. I'm thinking about doing it once a month. What do you think, Ron and Dale?
I vote yes.
That's a really simple question, Gina. I tell you, this has been tremendously valuable for me, and I've even been with you for a year now or more. It just seems the longer, the more time we spend with you, the more value we get. It's yeah, please do it again.
Okay, we will definitely plan on doing it again then. Thanks so much, guys. Hope to see you on DU in our Hug Seat calls and get to know you a little bit better. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Dina. This was great.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And when you come into Motivation to Profit, watch for the lesson on social entrepreneurship. Lynn, that's lesson 12 or lesson 16? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but it's in that range. It's in the early teens.
I think it's lesson 12 if I'm not mistaken. Lynn is our faculty member of social entrepreneurship. Lynn, what did you teach in that lesson?
I taught how to actually transform your existing business to become more of a social enterprise and increase your revenue at the same time.
It was an awesome training. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it a lot. I did.
I did too. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.